Hey there, Safehouse.
What's up, Safehouse? We back.
We are back again, continuing conversations. Now, our last episode, we talked about blending.
Yes, we did.
We took a little offline detour to talk about blending.
We want to go a little bit deeper into that.
So now we're coming back to the conversations that we had about blending. And this week, we'll have our guests, Kia and Zai, as well as Joe and Gabby. Unfortunately, since the taping of this video, we taped it back in October, Kia's mom passed away.
Yeah. But in this episode, you'll see her really kind of talk about her relationship with her mom, like when we start talking about honoring and how we honor our parents. So, like I said, it's really timely, especially for us who still have our parents, to the importance of being able to honor them while they're still here. So
yeah, and it's the other thing is at the time of the taping, she didn't know how little time was left. And now that we're releasing it and she just recently passed away, it shows how important it is for us to reconcile, to have a sense of urgency around that reconciliation and the honoring of the folks we blended with.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
That's it. Enjoy the episode. And make sure you comment, like, and subscribe to the channel.
Please do it.
We love you, Safehouse.
We love you. Peace.
Peace.
I turned 30 in July. And you know how people say, like, when they ask you, like, as a kid, like, do you feel different? I, like, intentionally wanted to feel different, if that makes sense. Like, we've been in church since 2013. We got together in 2012. So we've been in church, right? We've just been present. We just been showing up, right? But not actually showing up, like not knowing that we can actually do more, right? So like when I turned 30, I was just like, okay, it's certain things, it's certain ways, I'm still gonna be me. I'm such a vibrant personality. Like I'm just me, right? I'm just lit, right? But no, not in an unsafe way. Not like, oh no, I know girls don't see it. I'm like, but I'm just like, I don't know. I have a big personality. I'm a dreamer, so I found out I was a dreamer, right? People keep asking me, like, do you know that you're an evangelist? Do you know? And I'm like, calm down. Like, I'm just now trying to get my stuff together. You know what I'm saying? I can't burn myself out with all this other stuff. But when I turned 30, God came to me and was just like, are you ready? And I'm like, ready for what? The little song, Ready to Jig. Jig what? Jig along, right? And I'm literally like, because I'm a music person too, so like everything come with a song. But I was really just kind of like, okay. So literally, since my birthday, now, I had a couple moments right after because we were going through a lot. He was really sick. It was just a lot going on, right? Finances was shaky because of work, and I was transitioning from just being a student in school to like when he got sick and he made the money. I'm like, so I got to work too? Like what? So it was a lot of transitioning. So it was a period where I was a little upset. I was a little angry. Not necessarily at God, but just angry at life, right? So, but God broke that thing off of me. And then like for the last couple of months, I just been like really being intentional with my obedience and just really like certain things certain ways that I thought at one point, like, I'm like, it's not desirable to me anymore, So I literally have had the worst luck being in rooms with a lot of women. And I'm not a mean girl. And I'm going to be honest, I ain't trying to play the victim, but it ain't never me because I just like people. I'm a people person to an extent, but I've usually been met with large groups of women with like hatred, with like hate. You all know how girl world can kind of be sometimes, right? And again, when we talk about Kia and what's not looking safe, I'm quick to get in my car. I drive everywhere. Like, don't ask me to ride with you. Because when I need to get ready to go, I'm ready to go. Because if I get to standing up on the couch and doing it, like, I have to be safe myself, right? I had a 7-year-old. I'm like, man. But I was literally like, at the beginning of the year, I had a really traumatic experience where God like came to me and was like, look, really shook me. I was out of the country and I made some decisions that could have been like super bad, me and my friend. So I'm like, when I came home, I'm like, okay, it's the beginning of the year. They're doing all these different prayers at my church. And I'm like, okay, God was like, join the women's ministry. I was like, no. He was like, join the women's ministry. I was like, no. The situation out of the country happened. And I was like, oh, okay, when I get back to the States, I'm like, I swear I'm not even joking. However, I had that idea, like the situations I've been a part of with other women. Like I never want to be in situations where, you know, people try to threaten me or try to treat me away, or like I know I have my flex is my light. So I'm a big light. I've allowed in some areas of my life prior to the last couple months, right? Yay me. People to make me feel like my light didn't matter. Mm-hmm. So then, you know, people label me as conceited, or you think you all that, this, that, and the third, right? Women, right? And so I would minimize myself. I would try to be, you know, like lay down. And I'm almost 6 feet tall. I'm dark skinned. I got a big head. Like you see me coming, but I'm sitting here trying to duck in a room full of women. I'm trying to stand by the door because again, I like to drive everywhere. I like to get up and go when I don't feel safe, right? So I joined the women's ministry, and I'm literally joined the women's ministry. Then I joined this Joshua gathering group at my church, another ministry, and then I went on this women's retreat with my church the beginning of September. At that retreat, they talked a lot about forgiveness, and I had some issues. I had some mommy issues, some family issues, just a lot of trauma, like a lot of stuff with us, like a lot of stuff. And I just heard the two pastors' wives, they talked about forgiveness, and we got to write these people's name on a paper. Before they gave me the paper, I already had like 13 names. And I'm in my head like, man, this the number one person, this number two. And I put him on there. I put coworkers from old jobs. I'm like, listen. And they were like, okay, now y'all have to forgive them. And I'm like, but ain't none of these people here. But you know what? I'm like, I'm going to still be obedient to God. So they had us take the papers that we wrote on, and they had wooden crosses at the front by the altar, and they nailed them to the crosses. Then when we was finished, they took them down and we burned them in a bonfire. And it was really like, when I tell y'all, first of all, I like to sit back, lay low, stay by the door, because I always like to be able to get up and go, right? I'm thinking I'm finna walk out the aisle and go back to the room and cry myself. I ran to the altar and had the ugliest cry. I literally was the only person. I looked up, lashes all on my shirt, and I turned around. I'm like, it's just me. But it felt so good. So when it comes to parents and when it comes to family, God is literally this week alone. I got some really, really, I won't say bad news, but some news that I feel like the devil tried to take my strength and shake me with the news about my mom. But because I've been obedient, and 32 days ago, prior to me getting this call, and I haven't seen my mom in years, me and my siblings drove down to where she was at on Sunday. You know, and seeing her in the hospital bed and seeing her fight for her life, I won't say I regretted any decisions that I made, but I'm so grateful for God's timing. Yeah. Because had I not chose to forgive, had I not been obedient, I would have felt nothing when I went in that room. Because for a long time, my feelings mattered. I was hurt. I felt disrespected. I felt shunned. I felt a lot of things. I'm a Cancer too. So what they call us crybabies, I'll cry and I'll fight you. That's how I've been. You know what I'm saying? It was times where I was really angry, and I'm really not to point the finger, but a lot of opportunities that I had at 18. I had to drop out of college. I had to, you know what I'm saying? I had to get 3 jobs and go to community college to support my mom because wasn't nobody supporting her. You know what I'm saying? I had to take care of my siblings. I had to do this. I had to do that. And so I was angry for a long time just at circumstances and the people around, but I made that decision and I listened to God when he told me to listen. So when I walked in the hospital room, and something I never would have thought I would have heard my mom say, she said, Kia, I'm so sorry. And I was like, what? My mother, not to put her business out there, I don't think she can go to jail for this now, but my mom was a gangster disciple back in the day, right? She don't say sorry. She not doing none of that. She smokes cigarettes. She don't care. She said, no, girl, what? So I never thought that would have happened. And I didn't even expect it. When I tell you I got the call less than 24 hours later, we were hitting the road literally after church. So when it comes to family, when it comes to our in-laws, I don't think I was ever bitter. I think my feelings was just really hurt because I think that they all know everybody has always called me. I'm a caregiver. I'm a nurturer. You know how some good women can be. Everybody know they can call me to stretch me like I'm Play-Doh, to be able to serve them, do this, that, and the third. And I'm a crybaby. I'm a complainer. So I'm going to say, man, I don't want to, but I've always shown up. So for me, I felt like I had to, with me being hurt, with me being angry, I had to take those things away. Because I felt like people were trying to play with me. Family was trying to play with me. But I forgave my mom. I put my mother-in-law's name on there. Put my father-in-law's name on there. Put my husband's family. Put my family. And God's so funny. 33 days later, he like, look, so when the situation happened with my mom, and I had to show up for my mom, and I told Zaya, I'm like, your mom's next. And her birthday was a few days ago. I'm like, your mom's next.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
And it's okay because the way that I fight now is not the way that I fought back then. I have a spiritual advantage. So I can go in the Bible and be like, listen,
So
hey, we got to talk about this, because Ephesians 3,
really fast though, for me, and it's funny because you said honor.
Yeah.
And it made me think when you talked about your giving the car to your father, I say Kia's mom, because she was a single mother of 3 kids. When we started dating, this was the summer before she went off to college. They were taking family pictures.
Oh, God, those are great.
And she invited me to take the pictures with them. And was like, come on, they wore yellow. So she got me a yellow shirt. And she was like, come on, and like that was, I can say her mom wasn't perfect, but I can always say she never made me feel welcome.
I feel like we kind of like answered the last question I was going to ask. It's about, Joe, you kind of like started it about when you started talking about value. Sometimes we think that our spouses are responsible for making us happy, and that's a myth too. Because like you said, what it's really about is about value, so I was just going to have us kind of just talk about that. But like I said, you really hit the nail on the head when you spoke about the value of it. Because sometimes, like you said, when we feel like our spouses aren't making us happy, now we're ready to get a divorce, we're ready to leave or whatever, because we tend to think that, well, when God put us together, it's about happiness. But you also use that word purpose. God puts us together for a purpose. And when we don't understand that, because like you said, when we're standing there and we're taking our vows and everything is all lovely, we're like, I don't know if when we get married, initially, if we understand that God put us together for a purpose.
Absolutely.
When we start to feel unhappy, now we're blaming the spouses. Yeah. Like, you're not making me happy. You're not doing this. This is what I need from you. Versus, like you said, like, okay, God has to do this thing for me. God is going to meet you. Like, okay, he put you in these places where he's like, okay, this is what we're getting ready to do for the next couple of months. Because like you said, he was preparing her for this moment. Because why? Because you still on assignment. Yeah. You still got a purpose. His desire is still for you to be honorable. Like you said, it's like we can't, as Christians, we can't just decide arbitrarily which commandments we want to follow and which ones we don't. So when we start looking at the totality and the wholeness of who God wants us to be in our marriages, that in-law thing shows up. And it also shows up in when we stop thinking that we find our happiness in our spouses, when we really find our value in God.
And you know what? Also understanding that the enemy is going to bring all the heat.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
To disrupt that purpose. And understanding, like, you know what? All this, we turning on each other every 3 weeks, we could really be investing that same energy and directing that ammunition towards the enemy. Because what is he stopping? Right? And when we're turning on each other, what did he just stop? And what could we have done in the spirit together that
what
we're just doing this?
Yeah, what could you have built with that same energy?
Yes, with that same energy. So now it's like, you know what? I see you, devil. You cannot come and infiltrate this. And whenever whenever I feel about to turn on my husband, like, we need to do this different, right? We need to do this different and fight the enemy, because he is trying to stop and distract us from our assignment and our combined purpose. And once we got on one accord, God's just been blessing and opening doors and doing amazing things. The enemy's still on his job. Don't get me wrong. He always going to come at you, but we just move different.
Yeah.
You know, we just moving different.
My wife.
You got the right one, baby. It's good. I mean, because we just talked about sort of the folklore. We talked about it in the context of family, but I think it expanded way beyond that,
absolutely.
right? Because what I'm hearing, just to kind of summarize all of this, is that, you know, at the end of the day, it's purpose. It's purpose driven. It's what God designed us to do. And it's really weird because we often tell couples, okay, do you understand why you're together? Do you understand why God put you together? And even when you're in the dating world and you're trying to pursue something with somebody,
Right.
what are you pursuing? Why is God putting you together? What's the purpose, right? Because if you all are walking together without purpose, then it's just about happiness and what we can get from each other.
Right.
And as soon as that runs out, then there's no reason for us to be
There's no
together.
reason for us to be together.
Right.
Yeah.
But the minute we can connect on what the purpose is, now that transcends our temporal happiness, our temporal frustration. Wait a minute, you know, we can be mad at each other for this, but we got a purpose. We got something else we got to do. And what I really liked about what everyone said, and really this kind of hit home for me, at the end of the day, you know, when we all get up in the great getting up morning, our performance review is going to be about us, right?
Yeah,
it ain't going
that's
to be
real,
about the other person. It ain't going to be about how they treated us. It ain't going to be what they didn't do or what they shouldn't have did. No, what did you do? Did you do what I assigned you to do? Did you overcome the task? Right. Did you overcome challenges, right? Because we often look, and this whole thing about value, right? We want to look and, you know, well, you know, she won't let me be the husband. No, you were born with that responsibility from God. She can't let you be anything, right? The only thing you could do is abdicate your responsibility.
Yeah, that's real.
You know? And so, no, this is all very, very powerful.